Hello, I'm Kat Curry-Williams.
And I'm Radin.
And welcome to Wine, Women, and Chocolate podcast.
And we are back with part 2 with Rita Boccuzzi, financial expert, the Mama Rita Money. Did I say it right?
Mama Rita Money, that's right.
Mama Rita Money. So I would love to just delve into this for a bit, kind of doing a role play. Mm-hmm. So a woman comes into one of your workshops. You have a workshop. Give me the name of a few of your workshops that you...
So it's about financial resetting, and we reset right where we are at, and it's called the Money Empowerment Education Boot Camp.
Boot camp. That would scare me right away. Okay. But with that, and I'm not going to repeat what you said because that was just such a word twist for me, but I love it. So let's say a woman comes to you. Let's do a little role play, if you don't mind, Robin.
Okay.
You're coming in.
Okay.
As
easy
into this boot camp.
Yeah.
So let's go.
Hi. This is a real story. I pay the bills in my house, but you're mentioning things like compound interest and other phrases that I'm not familiar with. Math is not really my friend, and I don't really know where to start when it comes to turning my finances into wealth.
Right, where we can flourish. Okay. So the first thing that I like to share with you is that you get to hold space and grace for yourself, right? We get to take a step back because a lot of times we've been taught that we got to learn, we got to rush, and there's got to be instant gratification. Well, we get to take time so that we know exactly what it is that you want your money to be doing for you, right? Versus it leading you, like we talked about before. And the first thing is our words. I know it sounds very simplistic, but when we say, I'm not good at math, when I do my workshops and I have a group of women, I ask how many women can do the BOGO math. Do you know what BOGO math is? Buy one,
get one.
Right.
Oh, I'm great at
shopping
at discounts and fractions and percentages.
That's interesting. So
I'm great at that, I heard
right?
you say.
So you're great at that.
Yes.
Which means you're great at math.
Well, it depends.
So do you know why? Why does it depend?
Because if my children are doing algebra, they may as well be speaking Greek.
Right, and that's not money math. I mean, It is, but it's not the money math we need in our day-to-day.
Okay.
It's grade school, right? If you know how to do addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, pretty much got everything covered.
And you have a calculator, and we have one right on our phone right now.
On our phones.
And Siri can even answer some questions I've learned math-wise.
Wow, that's amazing.
Not money-wise, but math-wise.
So what's really important is to, what you focus on is where you get to or what grows. So when we focus on our money, the positive side of growing it, we get to figure out. Now, the word budget usually makes people's stomachs turn. So I don't call it a budget. I call it a prosperity spending plan.
Oh. Say that again.
It's a prosperity spending plan.
I have a budget story to tell you later. It might not even be on the air, but I think that's a brilliant change of word because I mentioned budget to my daughter and there was tears.
Yeah.
So we can go on. So,
Why? It's like diet, right? When somebody says a diet, you feel confined and restricted or it's not possible. Runs through your brain. So again, when I talk about mindset, so the words, right? You said you were, and so a lot of times with words you can do, up until now, I wasn't good with my money, but now I'm getting better at it every day. So your focus can be on affirmations that you could do day to day, and I usually give people affirmations. I have a great couple. I have a big list to share. I do them myself. It's amazing how it shifts, even for me, because it's a practice, and it is around money. And this is the one piece that most people are amiss.
Okay.
So you could be really great, and maybe you could luckily do well without it, but it is a mindset and perspective piece. So we're going to have discussion about that. But where is it? And this is the question that I ask people, and this is to think about. What's the purpose of your money? Every dollar you have is like an employee of yours, right? And you actually own a business that has multiple levels and different divisions. And you said you're a mom, right? Have you been part of like PTO or PTA or any kind of organization yet where the schools and the parents get together and then they create events and then they have budgets? For the carnival, for book fair, for a teacher event day.
Yes.
No, they just make me give them money.
Oh, she takes the easy way out. That is the easy
Just
way
give you
out.
money. But in reality, it's like if you look at your money, so our day-to-day money, that's our money that we usually have in our savings, in our checking, in our bank. That money is the day-to-day workers, right? They keep the lights on, they keep food coming into our mouths, they keep shelter over. And then we get to think a little bit further because most of us are planning hopefully to live for a while. And what happens when we get into I say non-working era, but that might mean that some people call it retirement, but it might mean that your dream is to travel the world. It might mean that you have some humanitarian big project. So what is the purpose of those dollars? And you get to really put them into jars or buckets of what those monies or departments in a department store, right? And do what was called allocation. This money is in charge of that, this amount of money. That's why I like the prosperity spending plan, because you're seeing where it goes. Now, what's the difference?
Prosperity spending plan.
So what's the difference?
PSP.
Right?
Took me a minute, but
So what's really important is, in a prosperity spending plan, it is not about self-deprivation. It is not about dieting. It is about including the fun stuff. Because what's the biggest mistake is most people don't put down, okay, how much do I spend in gifts?
oh, teacher,
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah, and that's also amazing. The more questions, the better.
Well, so we have these prosperity buckets. I can see them. I visualize them. That's who I am. I'm this student. We're twins, so I came up with the rest of the thing. So, but I only make this amount of money. So what if the bucket of the feeding and the housing and the schooling, and then I have this tiny little bit left? Or what if there's none left? What if there's barely? So how do I get to add to my buckets? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So one of the things that we get to do is you've heard of refinancing a house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and most of us have done it, right? Or had that experience or know somebody that has. What about if we take a look at refinancing your finances and seeing if you're maximizing where you're putting the dollars and more of the dollars going into your bucket? And, I'm going to say right now, Coachella is going on. How much do you think the average kid is spending out there?
Oh, I know. I went like
Bucket
20
load.
years ago.
No, but Randy went and her daughter went. I mean, they're spending a lot of money. There's VIP. Yes. So the answer is.
And our $5 coffee stores or our coffee habits, right? So perspective. Are you wanting to fund their retirement plans and their success or yours? And again,
So back up, you said something that really, before Coachella, you said, how are you replanning your...
refinancing your finances.
Yeah, refinancing your finances. So then that means...
Cutting down on your own expenses.
So, and that could be...
Cutting down. Don't use that word.
Well, I'm not going to even say cutting down. I'm going to say allocating the money where it's due, right? We can look at whatever phone plans.
Right.
And see if we can find one that's better fits
Our budget.
our prosperity
Our prosperity.
projection.
Sorry.
Right?
No,
Because
budget.
No, sorry, but that is really
sorry.
true. The reframing, you
It's just a
you just
reframing.
made the point of reframing our words. You just made that point
Right.
100% clear.
And it gets to be a daily practice. People love to catch me in when I am out of alignment with what I teach, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's great. It's great that they reminded me, because we all get to be accountability partners to one another. That's another thing is there's a lot of free education right now. Just start learning it. Just start listening. Even for our kids, let them hear things. It may seem, okay, I don't understand compound interest and I don't understand taxable and non-taxable. it's a practice, and the more you hear it, all of a sudden these light bulbs. It took me a while.
So if your kids are listening to you, if I may, if your kids are listening to you say, "Oh, well, I could get that at Starbucks," maybe using that, but you know what? I have a great Nespresso machine at home. That's going to be, that extra $3. I'm going to put that to my. I want to make an impact in the world. So if you're saying that to your 7-year-old, I'm going to put that in my little drawer that has that. Eventually, they're going to. That's how they're going to hear it. As simple as that.
It's as simple as that. And you can do a practice of, it doesn't matter. It could be a penny a day. It could be $1 a day. Get a jar or an envelope and put M-E on it. Me. That's my me account. That's my money expansion account.
Ooh, I like this second part of the Rita Boccuzzi episode for Wine, Women, and Chocolate. I'm going to have a toast for that me account.
That's right.
I have to say that I have been implementing a little bit of what you're saying over the last 10 years of my life. And and it started with the coffee.
Yes.
And the things, because I love things. I love pretty, shiny things, and I love clothes. But I know if I wait in 3 weeks, it might be on sale. So I don't deprive myself. I just manage it later, and it works for me because I don't need to. I don't have to have things immediately. So it seems that I've been trying to explain that to my daughter because she's like, "Oh, well, then it's on sale." I said, "No, what's on sale is not old stuff."
Right.
I had my eye on it 3 weeks ago, and it doesn't take more than 6 weeks max for that same item to be. So let's wait for that for you. Now I say that to her, and sometimes everybody wants immediate gratification, but it is how I do it. I personally do it that way. Right. And
yeah, I mean, I just took a job about 6 months ago that pays me significantly less than I was making. I took it for several reasons. I took it because it's a 2-year contract, and at the end of the 2 years, it could lead to very significant growth. I took it because it has paid vacation, which I've been working for myself for years, and I haven't had that in a very long time. And because of the steady income, which things were getting a little bit, unsteady in my own business. So, but I had to make a lot of adjustments. So I sold my very expensive car and got a much more reasonable car.
That's gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you. And it's a hybrid. So I'm also saving like $300 a month on gas alone. Especially because I did it right before the gas prices went absolutely insane.
Oh my gosh, bonkers.
And then things like, Starbucks and nail appointments and, dinners out. And
we extend our nail appointments. Things a little bit.
Yeah, and dinners out with friends and all that stuff was, slashed in half. And, really trying to cut down as much as I could, but at the same time saying like, it's still not enough.
Yeah, because you have 2 kids in private school. People have to, these days it's...
Still have private school payments.
And it's not even a luxury anymore for private school.
Right.
It's like a must.
And it's an inexpensive private school. There is no other private school in Los Angeles that costs anywhere.
Don't tell anybody what it is, because then everybody will want it.
But, it's like when you live in a city like Los Angeles, you get to a point where you're like, there's no lower than I can go unless I say, I can't get I can't color my hair anymore. I can't get manicures anymore. I can't, it's to really just completely have to cut yourself off.
Go on a diet that you don't want to go on.
Right.
Right. So right now it's a repositioning, and it's not a forever. And sometimes we do, and it's a redirect till you get to that next phase. And so, like, what opportunities are going to come up? And keep getting the job. I recommend this all the time because entrepreneurs, they want to make it work and will do it to the dying point. And in reality, you're stopping the flow of money, right? And money is this cycle, right? It's a currency, and you stop it, and it just brings everything else down. So where you are maybe making, and so one of the things is it's maybe redirecting of, I get to color my own hair. I know.
God help us all.
So COVID.
Madison Reed, hello, I love it. Do it myself.
Right? Beautiful. That's
Well,
amazing.
you've allowed yourself to go but you have a gorgeous silver hair, so that's different.
So we're going to make adjustments, and that's okay because it's redirecting our course of our life. It doesn't mean that you take your eye off of, like mine is, I want a villa in Italy, and I'm getting closer and closer to that, and it's taken time.
Do we get invited?
Yes, you do.
Okay, then we're going to extend this episode for another 5 minutes because
So we get to. It's a redirection. Really, it is about that, because if you come from this self-deprivation, it's just like you become depressed. It's like this spiral downwards. How can we spiral upwards? And the use of words are vibrational. Financial intelligence is about this vibrational energy. And it isn't always going to be, sunshine, rainbows, and gumdrops. It isn't. That's not the reality of our world today. But one thing that we have learned with COVID is sometimes when we direct, we find things that we love. Now, some people didn't like going in and being in their homes and having to do Zoom, and others loved it. And some businesses grew and flourished, and others did not. So look to the ones that flourished. Right now, gosh, better than ever before as far as side gigs to make money and affiliate potential of making income just by sharing good things with people is bigger than ever before. And so you can look to some of those things, something that you believe in. And as you're looking, you may find that this step back was so that you could take this view. It's kind of like when you're going up in a plane, you're going higher, and you got this 50,000 foot view now, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's where I'm supposed to be. So
and that
look
is
for that.
that for you is actually why you did that.
Yeah.
And I know because we're friends, and this is, it's so funny that you say that, but that is exactly why you took that position, and it's a fabulous position that you have in your job, but you did it for an intentional reason. So it's interesting.
Intention. So, keep with your vision. When I learned, I call it a money accumulation pathway system, and this is something that I created and learned. So it's about your vision, keeping your vision and holding on to it and creating that mission. It's shooting for the moon, right? But if you hit the stars, it's okay. So what seems intangible or impossible, but create parts of it that are achievable. And then reach out to your community. I call it vitamin C's, to your community, collaborate, connections. And when you have that all together and asking questions, just like what you're doing right now for everybody and your viewers, this is amazing.
You're the
Keep
executive
asking-
producer of this
Right.
podcast. And of course, we have Brian, who's fabulous, does everything. It's what I want to call the chief bottle wash and cook, but he's the real executive over everything, which is people overlook that. And it's so important. But it's a love. It's something else that you do. You do so many things so well, so many skill sets that we, as women, here's my contribution to this, is that women don't realize our skill sets that haven't paid us money before or haven't, it seems like we just do it because we're maternal. We want to help. They have value.
Yes.
And I think just seeing the value and understanding it has value, even if there's not a monetary right away for it, it shifts your.
I am totally agreeing with you, and what I want to say to that is when we don't charge for what we're worth in these things that we do, we're not allowing that person to be, again, connected in the reciprocity of the value of it. So it's important to charge for things for our value. There's nothing wrong with it. But we as women in particular do struggle the most with that. I'm going to say up until now, because we're all learning about how dare us rob the other person of that, knowing that value and having skin in the game in their participation for investing in themselves.
And I 100% agree with that. But I have to wrap up this episode and want to invite you to speak at one of our events
Yes,
for She Angels
please.
Foundation, because this is huge. It's a huge conversation. It's just the tip of the iceberg.
So many women can benefit from getting this kind of information. You know, women who need it and don't have it, or who have it but could use more.
Or embarrassed about it. One of my sisters was completely embarrassed about it when that time had come. She felt completely like a fool that she didn't know that already. And I understood it completely. I have no judgment on her, but the judgment that we put on ourselves is far greater than any that others put on us.
Exactly.
So I just want to also ask you a quick cat's quickies we have at the end of every episode. So wine, red, white, or rosé?
Oh my gosh, I love all of them. I believe I'm a Pinot Noir. I love the red.
Yes,
Pinot
Pinot
Noir.
Noir. Here's to Pinot Noir. This is how we.
This is amazing.
And now the next question: chocolate, white, dark, milk.
I'm an Italian girl, dark all the way.
Okay, we love that. And then Robin has the resistance question.
If there name, please, for us one woman in your life, not your mother, who has helped shape you into the woman you are today that you would like to give a shout out to.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so living. One woman living.
Living or dead?
You know, for me, it's Mother Teresa, because she is amazing with money. Think about it.
How she gave it.
Not only gave it, but how she received it. And when she received it, what she did with it. Because she was always open to receiving it.
Yeah.
So we get to all be open to receiving it.
My goodness, we get to cheers to Mother Teresa.
Yes.
That's right.
Cheers.
Thank you, everyone. What an amazing episode.
See you soon.
1016 Entertainment.